Jeremy's not going to be in the picture though.
That's good. I don't want to be on screen with you.
He would be like, see.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. I can't see you at all. I see an arm. No, that's great. That is great. Far end, Inman. Far end.
Yeah. Further. Maybe that's why we're done.
Oh, we're supposed to get started without him. I just heard.
Let's get started without it, shall we?
Woo!
All right, so I guess this is the director's panel, right?
Directors.
Cool.
Directors.
Directors directing. This is a ADR director's panel, I'm assuming mostly.
Yes.
If there's any other directing that pops up, like traffic or short
Yeah,
films or something.
I'll take porn directing questions later.
Yeah.
That'll be a different panel.
But hello, I am your panelist, Mike McFarland.
Woo!
Oh, thank you. ADR director-wise, I've been an ADR director in some capacity for, oh wow, it's 2019 right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like 19 years, and I've been voice acting for 21-ish. 22 by September, I think.
How quickly it slips away.
Through the years. Some highlights directing, because I have directed many things. Highlights would include, let's see, Full Metal Alchemist. And
Woo!
Attack on Titan.
Woo!
The Evangelion rebuild movies, the 1.0, 2.0, and all those movies. Some of the post-this films like Summer Wars and Boy and the Beast and Wolf Children. Let's see, recently things like Tokyo Ghoul,
Woo!
Blood Blockade Battlefield.
Woo!
Old school days would be things like Mushishi and Trinity Blood.
Woo!
You know, that kind of stuff. And I think I even worked on some uncut Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
I did the back half of the first Dragon Ball series.
The series that built Funimation. And I guess he's looking at me, so I'll tell you who I am. I'm Jerry Jewell.
Jewell?
Woo!
I feel so good. And I'm also an ADR director at Funimation. Not as long as Mike has been, but I don't even know how long it's been. It feels like it's been a while. 5, 6 years, 7, I forget.
I can't remember. Were you doing it at the old building?
No.
Okay, so just the new building.
Yes.
New building is 2008 on forward.
Okay. I think since like 2011, 2012, somewhere around there.
I think that sounds about right.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
So a little while. I've been doing it a little while. I've mostly directed the majority of boob shows that Funimation gets. Yeah. Not because I chose them. It's because
The boobs chose you.
the boobs chose me. There tends to be a thing that happens when a new guy comes to work at a place, and what happens is they go, hey, now that we have a new guy, can we make him direct these things that we don't want to direct? And the answer is yes, because I said, yeah, I'm fine, I don't care. And I've also done some decent shows though, as well.
Decent, you mean wholesome?
Wholesome.
Yes.
Wholesome
shows.
You know, now that I think of it, I got a lot of like sort of, even if they weren't boob shows, it was kind of the, hey, the next season of this show is coming out, and you're gonna take it.
Continuing.
Yeah,
Someone else's.
I did a lot of that. Date Alive,
Yeah.
Freezing.
Yeah.
I took a little bit of Toriko when it was there.
Yeah. That's Dragon Ball with food, right?
Yeah. Blood Sea, I guess, was my first
Woo!
one while I was there.
And I did a movie
Yes.
based on your dub.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Blood, what was that?
Blood Sea, The Last Dark.
Blood Sea. Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, that's a good one.
I liked it.
Orange was another one.
Woo!
Right, that was a good show.
The Seraph show, right?
Seraph of the End.
Yeah.
Vampires. Toaru Mojutsu no Index. Sorry, a certain magical index, and Railgun S,
Yeah.
and just lots of fun things that I'm sure you would all enjoy. And you probably already bought them all, so there's no need to look into them. But anyway, that's what we do. Is we direct the actors for these shows.
Speaking of actors,
Woo!
hello, sir.
Hey, everybody.
It's like introduction of you time, and you are looking dapper, sir.
Dude,
That is nice.
Yeah, all things.
I don't feel
considered.
dapper.
Yeah, you're looking quite dapper. For the snowy morning that we woke up.
Isn't it nice?
It's very nice.
No.
Well, it's snowed.
I'm sure everyone looked like it's not nice. It's
No?
not. Like, we don't get to see it very much. So, and when we do, the world shuts down.
Yes.
I'm Jeremy Inman. I'm a full-time director
Woo!
at animation.
Woo!
What have you directed, Jeremy Inman?
Yeah, what are some of the titles that you have directed, sir?
Well, let's go way back to 2004, and I'll bring it full circle.
I like your midnight R&B station voice you have going.
Yeah. Like alcohol works wonders
Yeah,
for you,
doesn't it?
but only the day after. Not
You're
the day
listening
of.
to the Quiet Storm. Oh, guys, if you want to get into voice acting, what you gotta do is drink a fifth of whiskey every night. Big cigar. Well, just recently, I just wrapped directing Golden Kamuy, best show ever, and Space Battleship Tiramisu, the funniest show ever that nobody's watching. And earlier this year, I did How Not to Summon a Demon Lord,
Woo!
Hakata to Kotsu Ramen, Relife, Saga of Tanya the Evil, Urahara. Did anybody watch that? It's Talking Fried Shrimp. There's the guy. There's always one. Bless you, sir. Fried Shrimp Show! Yeah!
Way better than the grilled shrimp show.
I want the Talking Bruschetta Shrimp Show.
There we go. There's your show.
Yeah.
It's so saucy.
There it is. Oh, we have visuals.
Yeah, we do.
Let's just leave.
And he's on the ball.
Yeah.
He's on the ball. I would. Well, not that. I was going to say the previous picture. I would eat that. But I guess within that.
Don't like white meat. What's the deal?
Not into cannibalism. Despite anime history.
Right.
I guess we can open it up to some questions if you guys have any, or we can keep rambling on about stuff. It looks like they've set up mics for you guys, so you don't have to like super shout. So if you have a question, you can just step up to them there mics, and we will them there hear you.
All right. So what? Hi.
Hey.
Hi. So what is the most that you can talk about at this panel? What is the most funny or awkward direction you have ever given someone that you can say here?
Funny or awkward direction that I can talk about in this room full of strangers that I treat like.
That's PG-13, really.
Let's see.
I mean, I don't know how funny or awkward it is, but either put more ass in it. Seems to get the point across. Yeah, do it again, but act this time.
Oh my God.
You know.
Sometimes it's just a matter of phrasing, like sentence structure-wise. I need this word stressed, or I need it to come down like that. So I really need you to emphasize that "but." Could you not hit that P so hard? P pop.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we go so fast, like things just come out sometimes, and you don't know exactly how people are going to take what you said.
I do recall, now that we're talking about
Oh yeah, you had some great ones for me. For Barry the Chopper.
For Barry the Chopper.
Those were
from FNA.
awesome.
I believe at one point, let's see, and this is an AM thing.
I don't see any children,
Right.
so we may be safe.
Well, I see a couple.
Okay.
I wanted Jerry to act crazier and crazier and crazier, so I kept giving him, you know, more of this, like this guy would be able to do this, and this guy would be able to do this. And I think I led up to, like, in a different wording, of course, pleasuring oneself cheese grater style.
Yes.
I'm like, crazy enough to do that.
In a pool of blood and guts and
Yes.
intestines. Yeah.
That's why you weren't cast.
I thought it was funny, so.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
So when you know, a new season comes and you have a whole bunch of new shows, what is your process for casting those shows?
Okay.
Good question.
I would say it's even before that. There's a stage of because we all work full time up there at this point, and some of us do additional work outside of the studio here and there. But in the meantime, we have this full time gig going where we know for sure that we're going to have some shows. So the first thing that happens is Funimation will send us a list of like, this is the, and they'll even put like, this is the 80% we're sure list of what we're getting for next season. So you can start doing research on your own to pick out the ones that are of the most interest to you. And they'll keep whittling it down like, okay, here's the final list. And you know, you do some internet-y research, and sometimes it's like a brand new show that's not based off manga, and it'll be like, okay, well, who's the director? Who are the people involved with it? What have they worked on before? The powers that be at Funny will take your requests in consideration, along with timeline of when everything falls into place, and the little Tetrising of the schedule of how everything has to work. Like, hey, I would love for you to have this show, but that means you would have 3 or 4 weeks of nothing until that happens, and we don't want that, so you're getting this show instead. There's a lot of things like that that happen. But as far as the casting process goes, traditionally, it would be, and this is like, I guess like pre-2016 or so, traditionally, you would get to watch a huge chunk of the show, if not all of the show, see how everybody's character arc develops and how they develop as people and or characters throughout the show. The types, like, oh, okay, that's the smart girl, that's the mean girl, that's the big dumb bully, and you get all of those character tropes and character types into place. And when you have your audition, you can put that all into a set of audition sides, which are basically like pictures of the character, description of the character, and some lines that you would like them to say. So whoever is auditioning is like, here is some examples of things that they might say, and I would like you to put your spin on that. Let's see what you have. For broadcast dub recording, which is what a lot of what Funimation does right now, which is right behind Japanese broadcast. By the time episode 1 has aired in Japan, we likely will have had it a few days earlier and have the translation done, and the adaptation has already started the process, and we will have already watched it in some capacity, or at least have the option of watching it immediately. Definitely going to watch it before the show starts. And base your casting off of what you can see throughout episode 1. If it is based off of a manga, you can research that further and find out if anything else, how much further is the manga gone, can that help me out with character types and that kind of story. And then for the most part, you base your casting off of previous work that you've done with other actors, or suggestions from other directors or things like that, because the time frame is much shorter. You don't have like a week to hear people and over the weekend to decide and then turn in the names Monday morning. You have like, here's everything and we need your list by like, what time is it? Yeah. 3 o'clock, we need it by 5. So.
Not 6.
Maybe 6.
I think he summed that up really well. Yeah, there's no time for auditions these days, so you just kind of, I personally do it off of voice type a lot of times, because we don't have that extra time to go, well, what's the character like? So a lot of times I'll listen to the voice and go, okay, I know someone that works here with a similar voice who could totally play this character. That's my person.
Yeah, the audition process then becomes like, as you bring in people to do the smaller parts, like he went that way, and like the people who just like have one line and stuff like that, you bring in new people in that capacity. Or like Jerry might tell me, hey, I started working with this friend of Caitlin Glass's, another theater person. She did a great job. I'm like, okay, the next time I have a group of 4 or 5 people to come in to knock out group stuff and individual bits and things like that, I'll include that person in my group to see what they sound like, and that becomes their audition. And then I can keep them in mind for whatever they might be useful for later.
I do that too.
What do you
Yeah, I
think?
think that was pretty much like Walla, Bits and Walla, which is what Mike was just talking about, is basically boot camp for voice actors. You just start to bring in new people that way, and then as your shows progress and as they progress, you can start plugging them into bigger roles and more responsibility as a voice actor.
Yep.
And then they're anime famous.
And then they come to Ohayocon.
Right? Then they come to Ohayocon at 10:30 panels about directing. Ohio!
Okay.
That's
that.
You never got that? You didn't get that?
It's even that spelling, bro.
Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio. All right, it's coming together.
Yeah. It's a joke grenade, and it went off many years later for you.
Oh, it's what they call a creeper.
Takes one, doesn't it? Never mind.
Let's see. Well, we got another 30-ish minutes of staring at each other.
36 minutes. And we've covered all the questions about directing. Oh,
There you go.
Hi guys,
Hey.
long time listener, first time caller.
It's over here.
Of these wonderful kind of new people that are coming in, there's a lot of fans in the audience. Who are some people that they should keep their eyes or ears on? Some up and coming talent that you have enjoyed working with that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Well, at this point, some of what I consider up and coming are like people that they may even know about because they've been working
that we've been
a few
doing it for a
years.
few years, yeah.
But like for me, that list would include people like Jill Harris, who I think is
Jill's
wonderful,
great.
wonderful
Yeah.
actor. Rico Fajardo,
Woo!
who's very good and on the newer end of things. Dallas Reed, who's
Dallas
the
Reed's
lead in Black Clover. Was it Asta?
Yes,
Like
Asta.
Asta La Vista. Yeah. No, not very funny.
They probably know about Briner by now. Justin
Yes.
Briner.
Yeah.
That guy's a machine.
Yeah. He's great. I've worked with
He's
him on
really
several
good.
things.
Of course, Sarah Wiedenheft, who's here.
Yeah.
Sarah's wonderful.
Um,
Dawn Bennett
Dawn Bennett.
is another person. If you guys
She's a
have
good one.
Yeah. What do you think, Jerry?
Oh man. As far as noobs go,
Yeah. And by new, like the past 3-ish, 4-ish
you
years.
guys 3 or 4, you guys. can-
Jeannie Torado is another
Who
one.
left? I mean, I guess
She
she's
still
doing it.
works for
Yeah,
us
I just saw her up
sometimes.
She went to
there.
the place where there's more.
Right.
That's right.
She left to
To
Dreamland.
go to what's the place? Some middle of nowhere place, Los
Who's
Angeles.
heard of it?
Yeah. Nowhere fair.
I like to throw Stephen Fu in there. I think he's
Yeah, you can throw
underused.
Steven in there.
Yeah. He hasn't had a lot of leads, but every time I've used him, he's solid. He's got a nice mid-range hero voice, a lot like Justin Briner.
He sounds kind of like Micah's
Yeah.
cousin or something. Like
Brandon McInnes.
Brandon
Yes.
McInnes is very good. Some new guy named Michael Tatum. He's not bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
This newbie, Monica Rio.
Rio de Janeiro. That's just right.
Radio. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's more. I'm sure I could like get done with this panel and go, oh,
Yeah.
like that's a nice handful of new folk.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Uh-huh.
Doing voice acting stuff is. What are the main differences for directing for like directing voice actors as compared to like stage acting or film acting?
Okay. I have had a little bit of experience with all 3 of those categories, mostly this one, because it's my day gig. With stage acting and with film acting in particular, there's a lot of rehearsal that takes place beforehand, before the show goes up. The cast, or at least even if they don't know each other to begin with, they at least get familiar with each other through the rehearsal process. They know like how each other starts to work, what the process is like. They have the material in advance and are familiar with it in that capacity. Filming would be like the next step down from that, because there's not the same amount of rehearsal and things like that. It depends on the film budget and schedule, but for a lot of like independent film and things like that, you'll get the script, you'll be familiar with the whole story. The rehearsal process might be the time after your call and you've got makeup and wardrobe ready to go and you're waiting on the shot to be set up. That might be the only time you ever get to rehearse the scene with whoever else is in the scene with you. And it was your responsibility to have come in that day with at least whatever's on the shot list. The shot list is everything that you had to have had memorized. Not the whole script at once like you're doing a play, but like these 4 shots, you gotta have them memorized, and then you can work on it that way. For the actors that come in to do ADR recording, they do not get a copy of the material in advance. If they so choose to do so, either on Funimation's streaming site or on some of the other legal ones, they can check out the material in advance and see what the show's about and what their character's doing and stuff like that. If it's the first time in, they may not know who they're playing, they may not know which character, but they can at least maybe watch the show if they so choose to. It's my responsibility as the director to take it from the standpoint of I'm assuming they have not watched it, and so I am the holder of all information about the show. As they come in, I'll tell them about their character, about the show, about what kind of type of show it is. Like, you know, it's an action buddy cop comedy. Like I just worked on one called Double Decker. It was a lot of fun. Or this is a dark, gothic, modern gothic tale of these vampire type creatures that live among us. You know, kind of set the tone in that capacity, tell them about their character. And then from then it's really just line to line. It's scenario to scenario. Like this next scene is when the lead character ends up meeting this girl character who may or may not be important to the rest of the story. I don't want to give the whole story to them because the character would know that when they met this person that would be the love of their life or whatever. But you're going to meet an interesting person in the scene, and they intrigue you in this sort of way. And approach it from the standpoint of the character, like this is a very confident character and he walks around and shakes hands, or this is a meek and nervous character who doesn't want to leave a bad impression and doesn't want to have bad vibes when they meet this person the first time. And just try to go line for line with that with as much information as I can. Plus you watch it in Japanese first every time, no matter what. So,
No matter what. Yeah, Mike pretty much nailed it. I would just add from a directing perspective, like he was saying, when the actor comes in, the directing actors is very, and ADR and English dubbing is very actor-centric. That's your job, along with, you know, your actor focus versus for a film or TV shoot, you've got 40 other things going on at the same time. So you have to set up the shot, block the shot, light the shot, do all these other things. And your actors over here hopefully doing what Mike said, learning their lines or whatever.
Jimmy used to do a lot of first AD on films. So.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks for reminding them I used to have a career.
You should see some of the things I